Hey everyone! Today I am going to be doing another deck tech because I can't stop making decks because I like brewing decks, and yeah, so also I'm doing another deck tech because I just got a bunch of new subscribers to the channel who came for probably magic, so here's some magic. The entire channel is not magic though, it's largely magic. It's probably about 2/5 magic, 2/5 D&D, 1/5 other stuff. But yeah. So today I'm going to be talking about my deck built around Samut, Voice of Dissent. Specifically, this line right here, Warrior. This is Naya Warriors. Warriors are actually a very interesting tribe where they show up on a lot of places where you don't really see it. Like, it includes a lot of aspects of elves that you'll find a lot. It actually shares a lot in common, this deck at least, feels somewhat similar to my Mardu Vampires deck, which is very much like go wide aggro tribal strategy. And another one of the options you can do to build warriors is go Mardu, and using one of the Mardu warriors and kind of doing that, and using some of the Mardu Tarkir stuff. And but I decided to go with Naya because I already have a Mardu deck, and I wanted to differentiate it from my Edgar Markov deck. One cool thing that this deck does, because it does pump up warriors and things like that, is that Samut is actually insanely powerful on her own. It doesn't take much pumping her to get her to just dish out the 21 commander damage to kill someone. So it's both kind of like, okay, I have my warriors, I might go wide, rush them out. But if I need to, I can just bring in Samut out there and have her just whatever she does. She has swords, right? Yeah, she has swords. Sword them to death. Slash them. Yeah, they look like slashing swords. So, yeah, Samut. I actually did get another one of her because she was sitting comfortably in my humans deck, and I took her out for this because she gets to lead her own stuff now. Way back when I was getting into the format and starting Magic, I wasn't really starting Magic, but I actually built Samut humans, which is it was kind of like my first step. And I've played 2-color humans, I've played 3-color humans, 4-color humans, and 5-color humans, and she was the second human deck I built when I went from Celestia to Naya, and then it was just downhill from there. And then I learned the wonders, which is putting too many colors in your decks. I was considering going full on, let's just go blueless warriors so I can get all the Mardu stuff as well as getting all the green stuff. But it's no, Lily, be disciplined. Too many colors. No. Bad. Okay, so first up, as always, we have basic lands. And as always, I match my basic lands to my commander, so these are all Amonkhet lands. I didn't have enough of the full arts to do all the full art Bolas lands. But instead I went with the series of lands that was the Titus Lunther lands, which are all lots of architecture and stuff, which is cool, Egyptian buildings and stuff. So first off, planes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 planes. I am running actually quite low on special lands and stuff right now, so there's a bit more basics in here than I have in a lot of my decks, but what do you do? That's what I get for having I think 9 decks now, and only not having a huge collection because I've only been playing for a couple of years. Next, mountains, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 mountains. Fancy. And then forests, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 forests. Fancy. Alright, now let's hop into non-basic lands. First up is actually one that is amazing with Samut, which I should probably talk about Samut. So, Samut is a 5-mana 3/4 with Flash, Double Strike, Vigilance, and Haste. Gives other creatures I control haste, and you can pay white and tap it to untap another target creature, which is, I don't use that to its full extent here, but there are some things that actually can make use of it, and I'll point those out. Yeah, no, Samut is a lot of fun. She hits like a train, and because she has like double strike, the only thing she doesn't have though is trample, which is an important thing, and this card is actually very good with her, and it's a land, and that is Kessig Wolfrun. So you can tap to add colorless to your mana pool. You can also pay X, red, green to give her Shiver plus X plus O in trample, which with Samut, she has double strike. You'll need to pump her power to I guess technically, like if you haven't hit the person at all, you just pump in, what is that, +7, so 9 mana, which is not impossible in Commander, and you can kill someone in one shot with Samut with just a land, which is really great. Next up we have Temple of Abandon. It's just the Gruul Scryland. Nothing special. And because I am a very budget player, Evolving Wilds, because, I mean, I think, honestly, in a Commander deck, having an Evolving Wilds, as long as you're not playing like one color, is worth it. Next up is Naya Panorama. I'm actually thinking about cutting this because, I don't know, it's just bad. You can tap it for colorless, but you can also pay 1 and sack it for searching in Tutor for any of the Naya colors or things, so a mountain, a forest, or a plains, and put it into play tapped. So you can upgrade it when you're not using it to one of the other lands, which is useful, but I don't know. I feel like these are best if you need the colorless source, but I don't know. I'm not sold on it yet. It's just so slow. I'd almost rather, like, yeah, it comes in untapped and stuff, but, you know. Jungle Shrine, it's just the Trier land for Naya, so of course it's going in the stack. Gruul Turf, it is the bounce land for Gruul, if you didn't catch it by the name. It's the Gruul Turf, it's the Gruul bounce land. I don't know, I don't love playing with the bounce lands, but they're good, so I'll but just having lands that tap for 2 mana is just annoying, not being able to, keeping track of that and not being evident at a glance. But yeah. Sheltered Thicket, I have a lot of Gruul lands, I don't know why. I guess I have played a lot of decks that use a lot of the Selesnya stuff, and just enemy color stuff is a lot rarer. I'm really looking forward to finally Dominaria printing out more enemy color lands. Sheltered Thicket, even if they're not new, but just get my hands on some more enemies would be nice. It's the Gruul cycling land, and while this doesn't have any fetches, it does have land types for whenever I actually get to put some fetches in here. Instar Crag, it's just the Boros game land because it's budget. And also, in Commander, being behind under mana isn't as bad as another format, so I think these are perfectly playable. Greypelt Refuge, it's also just a Selesnya game land. Skarg the Rage Pits, it's kind of like a mini Kessig Wolfrun, giving target creature +1/+1 and trample until end of turn, which is nice with Samut, because it doesn't bump up Samut a lot, but it does give her trample, which is relevant a lot of the time. Selesnya Sanctuary, it's just the Selesnya bounce land. Terramorphic Expanse, because like I said, it's a budget deck. And then finally, Moss Warp Bridge. It's the hideaway land so when it comes into play, you have to look at the top 4 cards of your library and hide it away underneath there, face down, and you can pay green and tap this if you have 10 or more power on the board, and you get to play that card you hid away for free, so you can help get the card advantage and fun stuff, and getting 10 power on the board this deck isn't the best at necessarily, but it's not hard to. Depends on how many wraths people are putting out. Although, from my experience, this deck isn't the worst at recovering from wraths. Because it can just pump out a lot of things very quickly. Alright, next, ramp. Not all of these I consider to be, like, full ramp sources, but, so there's, like, I think 10 ramp sources in here. I normally go for the magic number of 8. And, as always, because I'm low on stuff, I don't have a soul ring in here, and because I'm out of soul rings and stuff, and obviously I would upgrade those as soon as I get some extras. But, I don't know. For, like, I don't mind buying singles when it's, like, cheap, like, bulk cards, but I just can't justify, like, for a bunch of my decks, like, dropping, like, what's Soul Ring at now? It's going to be unprofessional and look this up on the middle of a video. But it's, like, not an insignificant amount of money. Yeah, they're $3 each, and, yeah, that's not that much, but when it comes up to, like, all the decks I need actually soul rings for, it's a lot, and I'll just wait till I pick up, like, a command, like, when, like, Commander 2018 comes out and stuff like that, but meh. So, back to ramp sources. First we have Oketra's Monument, which reduces the cost of white creatures, which is the most useful in this deck, but it does also have this line where whenever I cast a creature spell, I also make 1/1 white warrior, which really helps me go wide and, like, get things out there going, and tacking on a warrior every other warrior spell is really nice. Next we just have a natural connection, because, I mean, it's a 3-mana instant, like, I don't really take advantage of the instant nature of this as much, but, so it's like a subpar 3-mana green ramp spell, but, I mean, it's still a 3-mana green ramp spell. Yeah, honestly, I usually just main phase this on my turn just so I can, like, tutor up the land while other people are taking their turn just to make it flow better. Dromoka's Monument, because, I don't know, I like dragons, and also I have a lot of these, and for some reason, and, I mean, it's a 3-mana ramp source. Gruul Signet, because Signets are good even if you're in green, and I'm out of, like, Farseeks. Beneath the Sands, it's, this one I actually do really like for, like, a 3-mana ramp, because late game, like, some decks you have, like, lots of mana and stuff, or where you have, like, mana sinks. This deck is actually not great about mana sinks late game. It's something I need to improve on. But this having cycling on it means that it isn't just a stead draw late game. It's like, oh no, now I'm at 10 mana. But it's like, I think, like, my main mana sink is probably, like, Keswick Wolfrun. This is a very creature-heavy deck, though, so Cryptolith Rite, it pretty much turns all of your creatures into mana dorks and mana fixing. I love this card. I need to pick up a lot more of these. Honestly, any creature-based, like, green deck, amazing. Combine that with Paradox Engine, oh yeah, that's spicy. Rampant Growth, because, I mean, that's a good green ramp spell. These don't make warriors, but, it does create, like, guys that can get buffed up if I need to, and things like that, and if nothing else, trump blockers, and that is Awakening Zone. It's a 3-mana enchantment, which, at the new ramp could you make a 0/1 Eldrazi spawn that you can sack for a colorless, but you can also just keep them around and, like, chump them. So, but it's like I was saying, with, like, late game game's deck doesn't care about lamp sources, this isn't totally useless because it actually gives you, like, bodies on the field. Finally is our first warrior, actually, which is Bright Hearth Banneret. It makes elemental and warrior spells, which is the more important part, 1 less to cast, but it's a 2-mana 1/1, with Reinforce 1, which you can discard it to put +1/+1 counter on something, which I guess could be useful, like, on Samut or something, just to pump her up a little bit, but just a nice little warrior that also helps get out my other warriors. Yeah. So my first, this next section is going to be like my main like warrior payoffs, like, and go wide payoffs, which is kind of like the two things that like warriors are really good at. So first off is one of the few non-warriors in this deck, and that is Odric Lunarch Marshal. Essentially at the beginning of each combat, there's specific keywords, but any keywords that you have on one of your creatures, you give to all of your creatures, which, guess who has a bunch of keyword soup? Samut does. So as long as Samut's out, at minimum, like there's also a lot of other things with different things, it will give all my creatures double strike, vigilance, and haste, which is solid. Although I guess Samut already gives them haste. Ignore that. But yeah, and like but I won't say no to just like, he is essentially a body who which as long as my commander's out, it says all your creatures have vigilance and double strike, which is a pretty good card if you ask me. Next up is just a Gruul War Chant. It just gives everything +1/+0 and has menace. So yeah, I mean, it's just a solid go wide thing. It's one of those ones that I'm probably gonna switch out eventually, but it fits in there. Next up is a very dangerous card, especially given like the popularity of Tribal lately, and that's Coat of Arms. But I was debating putting this on vampires or warriors. I might actually switch it back over to warriors, or I might just get another Coat of Arms. They are like $6. And because it says each creature gets +1/+1 for each other creature on the battlefield that shares at least one creature type with it. Which means that essentially, if I have 10 warriors on the board, each of them get +9/+9, assuming there's no other warriors elsewhere, or other things like that. And if it's like no one else is there, and like this usually you want to play this being like, I cast Coat of Arms, now I swing out and win the game. You don't want this sticking around, because that can get very dangerous. But otherwise, yeah, no, it's a cool card. A very famous warrior travel card, and that is Boldwyr Intimidator. He says cowards can't block warriors, and you can pay 1 red and target creature becomes a coward until end of turn. So he essentially lets you, this is one of my like mana things where you can pretty much you can pay red and say, this creature cannot block my board this turn. You can also turn people into warriors, which only matters for Odric. Next up is just a Metallic Mimic, because I actually, unfortunately these are not cheap, but I actually like drafted a lot of them during Aether Revolt, so I actually have like 5 of these. But one of them found their way here, and this is Shapeshifter, so it becomes a warrior, and when it enters the battlefield, when it makes all my other warriors enter with a +1/+1 counter, which is nice. It's kind of like a lord, but it doesn't apply retroactively, and it sticks around even if it's removed. So next up is a very good like go wide card, and also a planeswalker that is terrible in a planeswalker's deck, so it's in here, and that is the brand new Huatli Radiant Champion. So 4 mana, 3 loyalty planeswalker. You can +1 her to put a loyalty counter on her for each creature you control. So usually +1ing her will, the one time I've actually played her with this deck, it's like I +1 her and added 10 loyalty and like never had to do that again. But then you can -1 her to give her target creatures +X till end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. Guess who's really good with this? Oh my goodness. Oh, how would you like +10/+10, Samut? I think you'd like that a lot. Yeah. I mean, she doesn't have trample, but like, I actually have like quite a few ways to give them trample in this deck. And even then, because it's a go wide deck, its emblem isn't hard to get to, her emblem, which is whenever a creature enters battlefield under your control, you draw a card, which is actually amazing in this deck, because repeatable card advantage isn't the thing that this deck is best at. Next up is Beastmaster's Ascension. I took this out of Sidisi because Sidisi has been kind of very much of my Sidisi has been evolving between a let's build a horde of zombies and overwhelm them to more grindy graveyard reanimator to essentially be like almost all the other CDC decks, but oh well. But I moved Beastmaster Ascension over here, which is whenever creature you control attacks, put a quest counter. As long as it has 7 or more quest counters, so when you play this, if you can attack with some creatures, you get it immediately. All creatures you control will get +5/+5. Yeah. I mean, I'm go wide, that's a lot of power I'm adding to the board. And look who takes those bonuses very well. Look, it's Samut with her double strike. And the fact that she's dealing commander damage. Next up is Lovisa Cold Eyes. She's not a warrior, she's just a human, but she's a 5-mana 3/3, and every creature that's a barbarian, don't care, warrior, do care, berserker, don't care, gets +2/+2 and has haste. The haste isn't as important because Samut gives haste, but I mean, she's a +2/+2 lord, which is really good. Then finally for the go wide is a warrior, and Amonkhet actually gave us a lot of good warriors. And that was Honored Crop Captain, who is just a 2-mana 3/2, which essentially has Battle Cry. So the 2-mana creature that like gives everything +1/+0 whenever it attacks. And it's a warrior, so that's cool. Alrighty, so the next section is warriors, and it's the bulk of the deck, and these are just not things that specifically care about warriors, but are just good creatures. I like that a lot of the warriors are very distinct in how they feel. It's not like a lot of the vampires, which end up feeling similar, like, oh, they're all lifelinky and you're training and do all these things. The warriors are all like very distinct, which is kind of like very fitting for warriors because like this isn't an army. This is just like a bunch of like individual like fighters and stuff who are like have their own styles and stuff, and they're all bringing their own thing and they're coming together on this common goal. And then Audric is there being like, okay, let's get some semblance of organization on here. Let's do this because he's a soldier, not a warrior. But yeah. So first up is Glory Beyond Initiate. I didn't include a lot of Exert creatures in this because a lot of the Exert creatures are amazing in EDH, except some of the good ones. Great interaction with Samut though is that she can untap the Exert creatures. If you didn't play during Amonkhet, there are these creatures that have this ability that exert themselves, which means they don't untap during their next untap step if you choose to exert them, but though you should get a very good benefit when you do. Glory Beyond Initiate is a 3-mana, 2-mana 3/1, but if you exert it, he attacks as a 4/4 lifelink, which with a bunch of like bonuses, like Beastmaster Ascension and whatnot, you can just like gain a ton of like life swing, and tapping of Samut's really great, and it's honestly just a solid card. On Crop Crasher, you can exert it and untap all of your other creatures, so it can give like your team like kind of like vigilance. And yeah, it's also 4-mana 4/4, which is solid stats. I guess this should have been part of ramp. Radha, Heir to Keld, who just, the new card is spoiled. She was a 2-mana 2/2, which whenever she attacks, add red to your mana pool, but you can also tap her to add green, so depending on how you want to do it, she helps ramp you pretty well. Why is this still in here? I thought I took this out. Well, this is leaving, and that's a Cartusia Solidarity. I don't even know why this is in here. I mean, it makes a warrior, but yeah, I guess maybe for flavor reasons. Yeah, I'm gonna say flavor reasons. But it gives just whatever you enchant +1/+1 and first strike. I don't know why it's here. Okay, I lied about that being the only non-warrior. We also have Oketra the True, who, this legendary creature god, with double strike indestructible, which is 3/6, so solid stats. Can't attack or block unless you control 3 or more other creatures, which is not hard. But the main thing is that she's one of my few like game mana sinks, which you can pay 4 mana and make a warrior, so yeah, good job. I like Oketra. Rest in peace. Next up is Champion of Ronus, who you can exert him when you attack and essentially Elvish Piper something onto the battlefield. This deck doesn't have that many good targets for it. Essentially you get to put it from your hand onto the battlefield. But I mean, it's still useful. To be able to just have a nice explosive turn, getting a bunch of stuff out. Bloodshot Trainee. This is part of a cycle in Mirrodin, which actually had a lot of these that are similar. So it's a 4-mana 2/3, and you can tap it to deal 4 damage to target creature, but you can only do that if its power is 4 or greater. So it requires some other fiddling to actually make it work with other lords and stuff. But if you do, it can just essentially 4 damage something every turn. Except with Samut untapping it, it can do 8 damage. So it can either kill 2 things or take down something actually quite big, which is really nice. Kinrad Charioteer, 3-mana 3/3 trample that also gives all of your other stuff trample and is a warrior, which is important for a lot of the boosts with what lovely Samut, who will tear your enemies to pieces. Den Protector, who you can play it as a morph and then megamorph it, and essentially regrowth something from your graveyard to get to return it from your hand. So, just a good card. And is a warrior. Kind of like how there's a lot of cards that are just instantly good cards that are humans. There's also a lot of good cards that are instantly warriors. Civic Wayfinder is a 3-mana 2/2 that lets you tutor for basic land and put in your hand, which it doesn't ramp you, but the 3-mana 2/2 that essentially draws you a card and fixes your mana, and I won't say no to that. Also is a warrior druid. Ooh. Steward of Solidarity. 2-mana 2/2, but you can tap it and exert it to make a 1/1 warrior. Talkrop Elite, who you can also exert, and essentially anthem your entire party for that turn, so get everything +1/+1. Green Wheel Liberator. It's a base level, it's a 2-mana 2/1, but if you have Revolt, so something has left the battlefield, whether it died or Flicker, you cracked it, Evolving Wilds, it enters the battlefield as a 3/4 or 4/3, which is, it's just good value. That's a replacement level 1, which I might change out later, but next is Stonehoof Chieftain. It's a 8-mana 8/8 trample indestructible. I like that sound. But when another creature you control attacks, it gains trample and indestructible until end turn. So plenty of ways to give Samut trample in this deck, as well as have backup plants and other things. Next is Solemn Recruit, who is a 3-mana 2/2 double strike. At the beginning of your instep, if you had a revolt trigger, so something left battlefield, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on her. So she grows over time. Timely Horde Chief. When you're in this battlefield, if it has raid, so if you attack for a creature, you get to essentially return a creature of CMC 2 or less back to the battlefield. So lets you recur something. Take Up Arms. It's 5-mana to put 3 1/1 warriors on the battlefield. It is instant speed, which is relevant sometimes. But having 3 bodies, especially with a lot of lords and other go wide cards, really is actually quite relevant, and it gives you oftentimes more than just 3 power. Secure the Wastes. It's X and white to put X white warrior creatures onto the battlefield. This is a very good card. It's one of the best cards in the set in the deck. It can give you a lot of stuff. Zozu the Punisher, who's just 3-mana 2/2 goblin that whenever Lean enters the battlefield, he does 2 damage to that target player's controller. So, it doesn't hit you, but you're an aggro deck, so you want to be whittling down people anyway, and it'll end up doing more damage to your opponents than it does to you. Narnium Renegade. It has Revolt, so if you have Revolt and there's a 2/3, if not you have a 1/2, but it has Death Touch, which honestly I feel Death Touch is one of the best keyword abilities in Commander, just because it can take down so many things that just otherwise you just can't deal with very easily, and it's a great deterrent from people attacking you, where it's kind of like it's a mini shield that you have. Likewise, I also have like Farika's Disciple, who's a 4-mana 2/3 with Regale 1 and Death Touch. Just because it's like, yes, people might be willing to make that trade, like late game, like when it's just you two, but they'll just be incentivized to attack someone else, and that actually is a huge advantage. Next up is Rubble Belt Raiders. 4-mana 3/3. Whenever it attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it for every other attacking creature you control. So with this go wide strategy, this gets big fast. Next is a Mardu Warchief, which is when enters battlefield, if you're already attacked with a better creature, you also get to, it comes with its own 1/1. So it's just a nice value creature. Like a lot of these just like nice value warriors, I might switch out eventually, but meh. Malphus Revolutionary. It's a 3-mana 3/3 with Trample. And when it enters battlefield or dies, you can add another counter on something you already have, which is mostly +1/+1 counters. Which there's like some things that give counters. Mostly it's just like decent stats with like sometimes relevant upside. But it's also one that's on the chopping block. Next up is Briarbridge Patrol. It's a 4-mana 3/3, but whenever it deals combat damage to one or more creatures, you get to investigate. So you make a clue, which you can pay 2 mana and sack it to draw a card. So it gives you like card advantage of the game. Whenever it like rumbles or something. It also means like it's not great to be chump blocked, because then I just happen to get like a card out of it. And at the beginning of each end step, if I sacrifice 3 more clues, so if I like save up, I get to just Elvish Pipe or something onto the battlefield, so just put a creature. Part of one famous combo, but also just a great card and a warrior, Zealous Conscripts. It says it lets you active treason something and pretty much steal it for a turn and swing in with it. So steal their Ulamog, smack them in the face. Reckless Bushwhacker. Not like you can. It has a search cost, or so if you've already cast a spell this turn, you can cast it for its search cost. And that gives all your creatures haste and +1/+0. Haste isn't as relevant because like I already have Samud as my commander who gives everything haste, but the +1/+0 is actually quite relevant, and sometimes they don't have Samud out. Earthshaker Kenra. It's a 2-mana piker with haste. When it enters battlefield, it makes a creature with its power equal to its power less unable to block, but also has Eternalize for 6, so it can come back as a 4/4 later on. Ambassador Oak. I want to go back to Lorwyn so much. It's a 4-mana 3/3 that also comes with its own Elf Warrior, so it makes 2 warriors for 1 card, which is decent. Then, finally, last of the warriors is Hamlet Black Goliath, which is a 7-mana 6/6. Whenever another creature enters battlefield or control, put X +1 counters on it, where X is that creature's power, so it just grows and grows and grows. And it has some Kid King growing on its back. It's so cute. Okay. The next section is just removal. And yeah. First up is one I'm actually mostly just testing out because I haven't really looked at it. And that's Spectral Grasp. It's from Conspiracy, which is, it's kind of like, it's a pacifism, but only for you. So, they can, like, you pacifism their Ulamog, but they can still attack with their Ulamog, just not you. They can't block your creature, but they can still use that creature to beat up on everyone else, which is honestly better than just like a normal pacifism. Yeah, no. We'll have to test out and see how it works. Collective Effort. It's a 3-mana escalate card, so you can tap additional creatures to get more modes. But first off is destroy target creature power 4 or greater. That's solid. I mean, it's a bit specific, but not terrible. Destroy target enchantment, often relevant to Commander. And put a +1/+1 counter on all your creatures, which is quite nice in a go-wide strategy. Bramble Crush. It's just a classic green removal spell that destroys anything that isn't a creature. So, troublesome lands, random artifacts, non-creature permanents. Next up is a card I really love, especially in these aggro decks, is Destructive Tampering. Either A, you can destroy an artifact, which is a good thing, or creatures without flying can't block this turn. So it essentially means, kind of reads like, your entire team gets flying, which can often, just kill a game. Next up is Sundering Growth. It's just a disenchant, so it destroys target creature, or not creature, artifact enchantment, and then populate. And I have a lot of token generators in here, so oftentimes it's a 2-mana disenchant, and also get a 1/1, which is a decent deal. Forsake the Worthy, Worldly. I love this card. This is an amazing card, and honestly can go into any white EDH deck. It's a 3-mana disenchant, which is a little bit higher, but it, first of all, exiles the card, which is amazing when it comes to just, taking care of, the stupid Brea deck that's just recurring all their stuff, or Silas Rat, or whatever. But it also has cycling for when you don't need it, so it's everything you need stapled together. The next up is Insult to Injury. So Insult essentially just doubles all the damage this turn, and Injury is kind of just a little burn spell, but it's kind of removal and also just a good finisher. Because guess what's good with having its damage doubled after its double strike? Oh look, it's Samut. Oh, aren't you a nice, very angry woman? Yes. And then finally Declaration in Stone, because it's a 2-mana exile. And I am out of Path to Exiles and Sword Splashers, and they're not cheap. At least on my budget. The last section is just card advantage, and first up is Mouth to Feed. On one hand, 3-mana, 3/3 hippo, but Feed is draw a card for each creature you control with power 3 or greater, which can draw a fair number of cards. At minimum, with Mouth, you'll draw 1 from the hippo, but you're also guaranteed to be able to have some mood and all the things, and it's just useful to have. Next up is Rishkar's Expertise, which is a 6-mana draw cards equal to the greatest power you control, which, will usually be a fair number of cards. And then you get to cast a card CMC 5 or less for free off of that. It's a great card. Next up is Smuggler's Copter. You have lots of 1/1 tokens that can crew this super easily, and it's a great card. Uncage the Menagerie is essentially kind of a mass tutor. So if you pay 3 green, it's an X green, and essentially you get to search for X creatures with a CMC equal to X. For the most part, I think this deck wants you either searching for 3 or 4 CMC, but it really helps you set up a big explosive thing. It's great after a board wipe because it gets you to have a solid base of creatures in place for the next few turns while you rebuild. And then finally, who's also a warrior, is Fleshwatch Recruiter, who is a werewolf and he flips over to the other side and makes all your creatures cheaper. But the main thing is, when he's in his human form, and more importantly warrior form, you can pay 3 mana to look at the top 3 cards, choose a creature card, and put it in your hand. So it lets you, it's another good game mana sink. I know I said I didn't have that many mana sinks, but there's a fair number, but it doesn't have as many as some decks do. And if you don't have any of those out, then it's but yeah. Well, this is my warrior stack. It's a lot of fun. I'll need to do some work on it to make it a little bit more different from my vampire deck. That is one problem of playing a lot of tribal decks, is that some of the tribes are more distinct than others. Although that being said, it does feel different from the vampire deck, even though it is very similar in kind of like the let's go wide and be aggro. Like having kind of like the almost like Voltron-y vibes with some of this really cool, and yeah. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be probably including a link in the description below for a poll for what I want to build next. I also might just ignore that poll and be like, haha, you people, I'm gonna build what I want to build. But I'll put that anywhere to let you know, just also like what I'm thinking about building next and get your input on what you would want to see. Well, I'll talk to you all later, and I hope you have a wonderful night.